How would you define this year? Jonathan, you want to talk about this year? How was it out there?
This year was the weather was relentless. Like king crab, it was like northwest 50. Just never stopped. And then Ophelia was even worse.
Right.
And there's more stories this year. It's crazy that you think the show couldn't get any better. I think this is going to be one of the better seasons for stories and drama and all the same stuff we all love watching. I'm a huge fan of the show too. I love watching these jackasses and their boats. So I'm a huge fan of the show too. I can't wait.
Your pain is our gain for sure.
Yeah.
Keith, talk to us a little bit about how the fishing was this year overall. Honest.
I stumbled a little bit. No, it was not an easy year. It was, I think John hit the nail on the head. A bad year for us is a good year for you guys. It's literally.
How Phil would say, you gotta earn it.
Yeah, no, there was a year when we had to earn every single crab we put in the tank. It was not an easy year. You know, we got knocked down, picked ourselves up a few times, and well, the boat's here and everybody's in one piece, so that's what matters.
Yeah. So we definitely had the weather this year. We definitely had finding the crabs, and we had the usual challenges with personnel. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about. It's hard to keep a crew. It's hard to keep a crew going every year. You want to talk a little about that?
It's really hard for me to keep a crew. Yeah, we had some guys get banged up. Along with the weather, you get some injuries. Nobody got seriously injured, but it was trying. We fished a lot of king crab. One guy short, two guys short. It made it pretty difficult for us, but in the end, it all came together as it always does.
Yes, it does. And one thing, last year when we got here, and I don't want to avoid the elephant. Last year, it was right after our friend and loved one, Captain Phil, had passed, and I know we want to kind of get that one out of the way. We really, I'm speaking from my perspective. I think we definitely felt Phil's presence there this year. In very many ways, and we missed his point of view. He always had that point of view that was kind of uniquely Phil's. That was great. And so I want to acknowledge that and say that we definitely, we missed him. But it was also an interesting year to see everyone else, in the spirit of Phil, step up and kind of, embrace his spirit. And it felt like people were speaking on his behalf at times. So it was really kind of a cool year that way.
Hell yeah! Yeah, baby!
You want to say anything to that, Tim? Maybe,
Well, I mean, I miss him every day, and it's hard because just being up here without him is just, it's not the same, and it will never be the same. And you watch the program, and I know all last week or a couple weeks they've been doing a lot of reruns, and I could watch like the first few seasons, and I just loved it. And then you get to where you get into the film episodes, and I just can't do it anymore. It's hard to talk about, but I mean, the reality is he's not here, but he's in our hearts, and we're never going to forget him.
John?
We got to spread his ashes finally, and the boys had to carry those ashes around for like 6 months. And he's off Priest Rock, and that was like a huge weight off our shoulders. And Phil always been out there with us, so that was huge for me.
And we don't get to see this stuff before it airs. We're about one step ahead of you, but we just got to see part of what's coming up this season. I'm going to tip him off to something here.
That's because he can't keep his mouth shut.
But the thing is, there's no question we've all lost good friends out there, and Phil, one of the best. But what happened at Priest Rock is something I don't think would ever happen again.
Yeah. I mean, what Keith's speaking to, and from my perspective, getting the chance to follow these guys, it was a once in a lifetime. We started off with the idea that we all just gathered and said, hey, let's go out. We're going to spread Phil's ashes. Let's do it right, send them off right. And I mean, look, trying to produce this show with these separate personalities all going their different ways is like herding like cats on crack, and it's very challenging. But for whatever reason, we went out there, we got in the helicopter, we kind of made a plan like we'll all meet out at Priest Rock, and as you'll see, in the beginning this year, this film that opens up. Everything just like came together in this like amazingly magical and beautiful way. And I don't, whatever your religion is or whatever your belief is, it's like you definitely felt like when you see that, like there was the presence of Phil there, and it was just so cool that I can't wait for you guys to see it. I think you'll
can't get boats that close together like we have ever. And we were like,
the weather cooperated, the light, everything just cooperated. So.
And then he's in a helicopter filming it, and then he's like, because a lot of the captains were on Phil's boat, the Cornelia.
Yeah.
And then Jeff made a comment. Had the captains been running those boats, they would have never been in unison.
That's true. That's true.
Because everybody's flying for
his number 2 was
they always try to, it's just...
But it was because Edgar and all the B guys ran the boats.
Yeah.
They were lined up perfectly, and when you got to see the shots you guys
I'm going to tell him you called him a B guy.
They are B guys. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, it almost was magical in a sense, and that is, I was right next to Time Bandit and right on top of the Cornelia Marie in the Bering Sea drifting. And all of these boats drift differently. All of these boats have different hull configurations. They have different freeboard, everything. And so for that many boats to be that close for that long is something that I've never experienced.
And Phil Harris was there with us because when it came time to take the tank, the cap off the tank that he was in, it wouldn't come off, man. And then we were running for screwdrivers and everything else, and Josh is sweating, and the boats are getting closer and closer. Phil's just going, fuckers. Like when we buried...
It was like a parking lot of Walmart. Everybody everywhere.
I will say it wasn't without its dangers because in tribute, of course, Jonathan had pulled out his sidearm and was pow, 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 which is fine in Bering Sea normally unless you're in a helicopter.
Or standing on the stack of gear right in front of him.
It was 10 feet over your head at least.
Yeah. Anyway, I'd like to open it up to questions now because I know you guys have a lot of things on your mind. So we'll just kind of try to work my way around the room. Gentleman in the back there.
How do you guys put up with all these camera guys all over your boats?
Yes, Sig. How do you put up with all the camera guys on your boat?
After 7 long, grueling years, there's a good rapport with the guys. I will tell you this, I had a new camera guy on the boat this year. They like to switch them up to give us new guys so we don't become complacent, which is a word I learned from Mr. Conroy.
I had to look it up too.
And that's the deal, and that's fine because they want to keep it real. They don't want you to just feel like he's your buddy, and I get it. But the guy I had this year, I made that fucker cry. Literally. I didn't mean to do it, but I just lost my shit.
Yeah, but you gotta tell the truth. You were going, this guy's driving me fucking nuts.
No, he was great. He was cool.
Thunder chicken or something?
Yeah, we had a code
He
word
started
on him.
crying when he heard he was on your boat.
One of the producers' name was Paul Gasick, and he's like, well, you need a code word, so when he starts getting on you too much, you just, in a polite way. So we called him Thunder Chickens. Every time he was, pestering too much, I'd just go, Thunder Chicken, and then he would leave for 2 minutes. But he tried to, they're so aggressive, and we're worried about their safety, so he kind of crossed the line without knowing, and when I got done ripping him a new ass, he went down into his little stateroom for 2 hours and sulked and didn't come back out. He had tears. It was beautiful.
So mean. Wow. All right, I'm ready for another one. Right there.
Did you just say how much orgy do you do?
Sure. How
How much torture did you do to Edgar when you were younger?
You're a freak.
I love those Hanson brothers.
It's like when I'm talking to John and Andy, you know, we talk about stories like when we were kids, and we're so similar because, I mean, I've got like Norman, you know, we're throwing lawn darts at each other. I had darts that I was throwing. He had 3 darts stuck in his back, you know, and he's jumping on his bed trying to get away from the darts, and it's just the way it was. My dad would just give us like boxing gloves and like, here, just take care of it, you know, and go outside. We were pretty bad to each
I
other.
love that story Edgar tells. He goes, yeah, thanks, Dad. Get your 3-year-old your brother boxing gloves.
Scary. Okay, where
Give
else?
him hell.
Right in the middle here.
On season 5, you had mentioned that your boats are a smoking prison, and my 5-day trip, I went through 6 packs in 5 days. So out of curiosity, in a season, how many packs of cigarettes do you go through?
So he's a lightweight, sick.
Oh, I mean, it's not nothing to brag about, and I'm trying my best to tone it down, but like, we don't go through packs, we go through cartons. And you'll do a carton in 2.5 days pretty easy. So, but I'm not proud of it.
Jonathan, you can speak to that a little bit this year. You fought the good fight.
I did good. I got my ups and downs, and then we lost JT in a deckhand we had this year. You'll meet. And my brother Neil quit, and he hasn't smoked a cigarette for 2.5 months.
Good for him.
I know I'm trying to follow my brother. So anyway, we're working on this thing. Thank you.
Well, Jeff, John would take like 5-10 minutes at a time, and he worked his way up. It was good. Then he snapped. Then he was back. Then he kept working his way up. So.